Fight! I will be your death.
Alright, we'll go ahead and line up the Deadeye ultimate. And then we'll go ahead and... oh, wait for it. Wind God Fujin.
Storm is coming.
And then we'll go ahead and line up the Frost ult here. We can just get him selected. There he is. Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa! The first ever featured character banner has finally arrived. Wind God Fujin makes his debut in Mortal Kombat Onslaught, and he's an absolute murder-fueled monster. In fact, he's such a bloodthirsty savage, he makes Dark Raiden look like Kung Fu Panda. But just how good is he? Does he have any insane synergies or hard counters? What are his best relics and gear sets? And most importantly, should you be spending every penny that you have to try and pull him? In this video, I'm going to answer all of that and more, so let's get into it. Note there are timestamps in the video description. Alright, first let's take a look at his stats. He is a 5-star character, so his stats are well above average, bordering on obnoxious right out of the box. As an assassin, it's his offensive stats that are particularly terrifying. For example, he currently has the highest base attack in the game, because of course he does. He also has the highest initiative, because he's always in a hurry to pull someone's intestines out through their anus. I will say that his stats are befitting of being the only 5-star assassin. His base health and defense are both pretty mid, but as an assassin that's actually surprisingly good. Now, let's take a look at his kit. Starting with his passive, Airwalk. At the beginning of an encounter and when his target enemy is KO'd, Fujin immediately airwalks to the lowest max health enemy. While in Airwalk, Fujin cannot be targeted by enemies and dive kicks his target if his initiative is higher than the enemy target. Fujin gains a boost to his critical damage for every threshold of initiative he has. At passive level 4, this means he'll go untargetable and then open with a free dive kick for 80% of his attack, and for every 20 initiative that he has, he'll gain a bonus 3.5% crit damage. This means he's dealing about 60% bonus crit damage without any extra initiative, and you can boost it even further by giving him a relic with initiative on it, which we'll talk about in a bit. Next, looking at his first auto, Gale Blade. Single target attack that uses Fujin's sword to strike the enemy 10 times. If Fujin won initiative, each strike of this ability attempts a block breaker up to a max number of times while in the same melee engagement. If Fujin's sword is being used in Razor Winds, then this ability only strikes a single time. At auto level 6, this means he'll hit 10 times for 12% each, totaling 120% damage. This ability deals a crap ton of damage, benefiting from the fact that he has 10 separate opportunities to critically hit with his already boosted critical damage. Looking at his other auto, Rising Storm. Single target attack that applies knockup. On successful knockup, Fujin performs a follow-up attack which hits multiple times. At auto level 6, this is dealing 193% of his attack, and a bonus 50% if he lands the knockup. You'll notice this is yet another multi-hit ability, which means a bunch of opportunities to critically hit. Finally, his ultimate, Razor Winds. Summons his sword within melee distance against a single target. The sword attacks the target one time and then performs additional attacks based on the number of times he's won initiative up to a max. At level 6, this deals 330% of his attack, with up to 5 more hits, each dealing 31% of his attack for a total of another 155% of his attack, for a grand total of 485% of his attack. Yet again, this ability is multi-hit, meaning he has a bunch of opportunities to critically hit. So, to summarize this kit, he airwalks over the top of the enemy team to make it very clear that they are all beneath him, then he picks the target he can eviscerate the quickest, drops in on them by dive kicking them in the face, after which he proceeds to multi-hit the shit out of them for some of the highest damage in the entire game. When he's done carving someone up like a turkey, he hops back on his invisible escalator and looks for someone else's day to ruin. Rinse and repeat, except that every time he does that, he's further empowering his ultimate, which can literally one-shot a full tank Goro. This man is a menace. Alright, now we have to talk synergies, because in my opinion, Wind God Fujin can actually capitalize on the nastiest synergy in the entire game. Enter Deadeye Aaron Black. Deadeye's passive is Sniper's Luck. At level 4, it boosts all body affinity allies' critical chance by 10%, and each time Aaron or a body affinity ally hits critical, it boosts critical damage for all body affinity allies by 1.5%. The beauty of this passive is that in 0.3.0, they removed the line stating that it had a cap, which means that it can now stack infinitely. This also means that if you team Deadeye Aaron up with a body affinity ally who literally spams multi-hit abilities like a button masher on Ritalin, you end up boosting the critical damage for all body allies by a very large amount very quickly. I should mention Frost also enjoys getting in on this action. So what does this mean for his relics and gear? Well, the clear number one relic option for Wind God Fujin is none other than the Datusha Chris. It provides attack as a primary stat along with initiative, which ends up granting him another 7% critical damage at relic level 15. It also provides 30% defense shred and 30% total damage to his basic attacks, perfect for quickly disemboweling an enemy like the murderous coked out swashbuckler that he is. Now, because Datusha Chris is only available in the Arena store and it's very expensive, I definitely wanted to mention the next best option, which is much cheaper and easier to obtain, and that would be the rare relic Kirahashi Blade. The Kirahashi doesn't grant any attack, which Wind God Fujin definitely prefers to have, but it does grant initiative for that boost to his critical damage, and more importantly, at level 30, it grants 10% critical chance every time he wins initiative, stacking up to 5 times. And seeing as he literally never loses initiative because he runs like the wind, he stacks that very quickly and reliably. If you have him paired with Deadeye Aaron, as mentioned earlier, you're simply setting him up to permacrit, generating an ungodly amount of bonus crit damage for all body allies. If you don't have either of those two relics, his next two best options are unfortunately epics, specifically Kafala Clarion and Draman's Mask, simply because they grant him the most attack, which is what he cares about because he's definitely less Wind God and more Homicidal Maniac. As for his gear, you'll want to run a 4-piece attack set and a 2-piece critical chance set. When it comes to substats, I recommend prioritizing attack over critical chance so that his skills simply always hit harder, but if you're running him with Deadeye Aaron Black, you definitely want to try to get him to at least 40 to 50% critical chance so you can reliably trigger Deadeye's passive, as well as reliably trigger anyone whose defense you attack in Arena. Speaking generally about his matchups, Wind God Fujin essentially counters all snipers, attackers, and assassins right now. Seeing as he auto-targets the lowest max HP opponent, like a fatphobic gym teacher, he is quick to single out the squishies. Even characters that probably should counter him just don't. For example, Sindel has the highest attack in the game only behind Mad God Fujin, and she affinity counters him, meaning she takes 20% less total damage from him, and she deals 20% more total damage to him. You'll notice this does not stop him from going full O.J. Simpson on her. Fear not, however, there is at least one character that does actually counter him fairly well, and that man is Razorhat Kung Lao. Razorhat also affinity counters Blood God Fujin, except that he actually has a sizable enough health pool to tank him long enough to butcher him. On most teams, Razorhat won't be the lowest max HP, meaning he won't actually bait Hellspawn Fujin, but on a team with 3 tankier allies like Undying Shao Kahn, Deadeye Aaron Black, and Goro, you can set the stage for Fujin to gleefully waltz into his own demise. When it comes to PvE, he's an undeniable all-star in Liu Kang Boss Tower. Hands down, top performer, top 4 pick. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so we're running the full body crit squad here, and the name of the game is Count the Airwalks. You'll see he's airwalking right there, and he's going to drop down and massacre this monk. And airwalking again. And another one down. Airwalking again. Airwalking again. You'll notice that he just bounces from target to target, dispatching them very quickly. 20 seconds to take out that entire first wave. So I go ahead and actually use Frost there, and he airwalks again over to another target. And he's also really quick about getting in that back line. Another airwalk there. Gonna take this guy out pretty quickly. He just does a tremendous amount of damage, which makes sense because he is an assassin. What's really impressive is how quickly he's able to handle this. So, we drop the Yu Xiao taunt. He's already taken out a minion. I go ahead and use Deadeye's ult so that we have them marked. And then I drop the Fujin ult. Now the Fujin ult is going to hit right away. Just a casual 172,000 damage on Liu Kang, no biggie. But then his sword stays and keeps spinning, hitting for 38,000 plus damage each time. which is why in a matter of about 5 seconds, Liu Kang lost over a third of his health. This is a stage 6 boss. Again, keep in mind, there's 3 seconds remaining, and look how quickly this guy is dying. One quick Deadeye ult. I was excited to use the Fujin ult again, and I couldn't because we ended it too quickly. And this was by no means the quickest run I could have achieved, and it was 61 seconds, during which time Fujin did almost 1.9 million damage. So, should you be spending everything to try and pick up Wind God Fujin? Well, my answer might surprise you, but I would actually say no. Wind God Fujin is absolutely a god tier character, and as such he makes an incredible addition to literally any roster. If you already own him, that's definitely nothing to be upset about. He's really, really good. So why am I not full on endorsing you to steal someone's credit card and try for Wind God Fujin at all costs? Because in reality, he's ultimately just a luxury. I predict in the future some of the featured characters will heavily impact the meta, whether because they'll be the only way to beat a specific boss tower, or because in Arena there will be a clear divide between the players that own them and the players that don't. As great as Wind God Fujin is, and he is great, he isn't currently essential for anything. He isn't unbeatable in Arena, and more importantly, the boss tower where he truly shines is Liu Kang Tower, and while he definitely makes it much easier, we've already proven that it's possible to 3-star even stage 6 without him. So because he isn't actually needed for anything right now, I'm actually rating him as skippable. But he's definitely a hell of a lot of fun. So if you do decide to splurge on him, he won't let you down. But alright, that concludes the breakdown of Wind God Fujin. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Please do me a favor and tickle that like button, caress that subscribe button, and leave a sensual message in the comment section below. And I will see you guys real soon. Until next time. Hey!